What's up, you boys, girls, and non binary squirrels, and welcome on into yourself to the Outcast podcast. I'm your host. My name's Taylor, and these are our guests today, Jason and Matt.
Hello.
Hello, I am the Jason.
Hello, I'm Matt.
All right. Today's episode, I have some topics that we're gonna be discussing. They're just simple ones, like that we can just kind of bullshit about. Um, any of you guys could go first. I really don't care. Um, what's like? I'm gonna like include TV shows, but like, what are like some underrated like movies, TV shows, and games that you could like recommend for people that you think are like amazing?
Ooh.
Um, Evil Dead 2's a fun time. It's a horror movie, but really it's a comedy, which but it's not a comedy in the laugh out loud funny way or in the modern sense of the comedy where they make jokes the whole time.
Right.
It's a comedy in the sense of the Three Stooges. It's actually its own little genre called slash stick, where it's like slapstick and it's over the top and ridiculous and very physical, but it brings in all the gore of slasher films, and it's a fun movie where a dude goes in the woods and chops his own hand off.
That sounds really funny.
Joke.
No, it's downright hilarious, and it was made with the budget of a spoon, a house in the woods, and a way too much blood.
Interesting.
That's actually a story from the set. They accidentally added a zero to their fake blood budget, and they had to use it all.
That's just. Yeah.
And
So
don't worry that it starts with a 2. The first movie, Evil Dead and Evil Dead 2 are basically the same film, but Evil Dead 2 was made with a budget. The first movie was actually just a bunch of people in the woods. And it's basically the same film, but Evil Dead 2 is better.
So it's basically like a documentary on West Virginia. Just a bunch of people in the woods with a spoon and a lot of blood.
Yeah, and demons, but West Virginia.
Oh, you know West
Yeah.
Virginia.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna recommend a TV show that I'm pretty sure all of us have watched, but not everyone has watched. It's Firefly.
Ooh.
I've never actually watched Firefly,
It's
Yeah, neither have I.
Oh, really? Damn.
Yeah, I've
but I
heard
know that it's. I know that if you like sci-fi and you like sci-fi that's not utopia sci-fi,
and if you like
it's the place to go.
Joss Whedon, it's also the place to go.
Yeah.
It's such a great show. I've watched it like 3 times now, and each time it just gets better.
Wait, did you say Josh Whedon?
No, Joss Whedon.
Oh, I thought you said Josh. I was gonna say he's gonna have to fight.
He's gonna have to fight for his name.
Yes.
Yeah.
No,
We all
but-
fought for our names here.
Yeah. But no, like I haven't seen the actual like I haven't like because I know there's a movie called Serenity, which is literally a continuation of that. But
It's also an ending.
that's true. But like the actual show, I think it has something like it has like 13 or 14 episodes.
Yeah, something like that. It's not a ridiculous series to bury yourself in, but it's a beloved franchise, a lot like Evil Dead is. It's got a cult following.
Yeah, it's a really good time. It's basically space western.
Yeah, space western.
It's a really good time.
I can't think of any non-popular shows. It's just like I'm such a
Sitting there
normie.
like, yeah.
Like I watch.
I don't watch a lot of TV. I do watch some cartoons and I watch some anime, but I don't watch a lot of traditional TV.
Yeah, I've actually
Um,
stopped watching a lot of traditional
but on
TV.
the topic of sci-fi, I'm gonna bring up a show that the first 3 or 4 seasons are okay. The first season's actually enjoyable. The second season's still pretty good, and the third and fourth seasons are alright. And then after that, they lose all of their budget because I'm gonna talk about a '90s sci-fi.
Ooh.
Ooh.
It was called Andromeda,
I've heard
and
of that.
um, it's basically a Star Trek alternative. It
Hmm.
takes it's a little bit more violence based because it was the '90s, and there is a dude that literally wears leather pants and a chainmail shirt, and that's it. He was like a 6'3" black dude with dreadlocks. But they had an interesting world with a bunch of interesting stuff going on, and they had different philosophical concepts and stuff. And it did just turn into absolute garbage towards the end. But the first couple seasons are definitely worth watching. I watched it on Amazon Prime Video thing, whatever. Is it just Amazon Prime?
I think it's Prime Video now. Is what they call
Yeah,
it.
I think it
Uh,
is like something like Prime Video or something like that.
that is really poor branding.
Yeah. Well, it's not like
They
they
should
even
come
need
up with a name
branding.
for that.
They just got
No, it's
hella
just
budget.
Jeff Bezos and his super corporation.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
But
Speaking of Amazon Prime Video and sci-fi, have you guys watched The Expanse?
No, I haven't.
no, I haven't yet, but I have heard good things.
Oh, it's a baller show. It's so basically it takes place 2, 3 centuries from now in the future, and it tries to use a realistic sci-fi, like realistic as you can get for sci-fi.
So, sci-fi as sci-fi was originally meant to be.
Yeah, they have ships that fly around using real physics, like they have to speed up half the time, slow down the other half. The
I'm
space
sold.
battles are
I'm in.
pretty
I'm already
badass.
in.
Yeah.
I have to check it out now because the only things that I've watched on Amazon Prime are the first season of the Jack Ryan show, and
Which first season was good, second season was eh.
okay, I'm glad I haven't watched the second season because the first season was absolute baller, and then I've
The first
also
season was a mystery. The second season was just action,
okay,
which was disappointing.
so it did the classic first mystery, second just
It turned into an '80s movie. Just move on.
yeah.
What were we talking about?
Um, but the only other thing I've watched on Amazon Prime is The Boys, which is
Yeah,
absolutely
Boys is fun.
The Boys is great.
It's always good to have criticism of, well, society, but also superheroes. Superheroes is a fun way to do it. It's why I've been meaning to read Warm.
Read what?
Warm.
Warm.
It was a serial, a web serial that ran for 2 years, from like 2 or 3 years, around 2010, and it's got its own cult following, but it's a brutal superhero world, and I've been meaning to read it, but I haven't gotten around to it yet.
Huh.
Hmm.
Warm. That sounds like a hot read.
Yeah, no, I've never heard anything bad said about it, and the fandom is still fairly active today.
Oh, cool.
So, yeah. So, it's a neat little thing there.
Yeah.
There's
What was
a
I gonna say?
there's a there's a manga that I really want to read, but I haven't even got actually started to read it yet. Is Gantz.
Gantz.
Yeah, it's like
Um,
Never heard. Never heard of that word before.
there was a shitty CGI movie on Netflix about that, I think, but
Yeah, there was.
I've only seen it in passing. I'm still not caught up with Berserk. I can't say anything.
I've not been
But,
watching anything but YouTube recently.
I've been reading for the last couple months in my little gremlin corner.
Gremlin corner.
But how about that last season of Clone Wars?
I can't say anything because I actually haven't like
Yeah,
actually
I
sat
know
down.
you can't 'cause you haven't watched it
I
because
haven't
you're
actually.
not cool enough.
I know.
Masking the other guest on the channel.
Oh, I haven't seen it.
Oh damn it!
Yeah, I was.
Um, Clone Wars turns a lot of people off because the opening episodes have really shitty animation.
Yeah.
Because it was a brand new team working on a TV show for animation with the CG based animation stuff. So the first season has fairly poor animation, and season 2 still isn't terribly good animation wise, and that turns a lot of people off. But
Yeah.
I'd say 40% of the arcs are actually great storytelling. A further 30% is good, and the last 30% there ranges from okay to just kind of bad. There's at no point did I ever feel that anything was terrible while watching the show. And it covers the Clone Wars, which is a fascinating chunk of Star Wars that just got skipped over if you only watched the movies. It introduces its own characters that have their own arcs. It made Maul a character instead of that cool looking dude from
Oh yeah.
from the episode 1,
I think I
Phantom
saw
Menace.
like a couple scenes from it on YouTube. It was one where it's Obi-Wan versus Maul, and
Oh yeah.
he does
Yeah,
the
cuz
same thing he did to Obi-Wan the last time, but Obi-Wan, like I think he cuts his lightsaber in half or something.
yeah,
Yeah.
that I think you're thinking of Rebels, which
Rebels?
is the
Okay.
successor show, and Rebels is kiddie show garbage.
Okay. I just saw like
I
a
have
bunch of
only
Star Wars clips on YouTube.
yeah, the YouTube channels associated with them dumped a bunch of stuff coming up to season 7, which was a surprise. Throughout its airing, the Clone Wars was almost canceled on a number of occasions, and the last like half of season 6 only released when Netflix bought it and gave them the money to finish those episodes. And finally, season 7 was made like 4 years after the show ended because there was such a high fan demand for it. And season 7 has 3 arcs. The first one was okay, the second one was fairly boring because no one cares about the two random sisters. And the third one is probably one of the best arcs in the entire show, and has the best lightsaber duel in all of Star Wars. I'll stand by that statement no matter what you say.
And they mocapped that, didn't they?
They mocapped it. That one wasn't just CG. It was done by like people who've been training for it for a long time, like professional stuntmen. I think they got the guy who originally did Maul in to mocap it too, because he's never stopped twirling that lightsaber. But this was just a rant about the Clone Wars. We need to talk about underrated shows, and not a single person who's ever watched this show has ever shut up about it. So we need to move on.
Yeah.
We could also talk about um, like underrated movies or games even.
We could talk about how Metro is both underrated and overrated. The Metro series.
Oh yeah, it totally is. I fucking love those games.
It's both. I do. The games are wonderful. But the first 2 Metro games have a lot of issues with them.
They do.
The first one was basically built on the Stalker engine, which, you know, they narrowly escaped a lawsuit over.
They're just like, you stole. They're like, you stole our engine. They were like, no, we didn't, and then they left it at that.
Yeah. I mean, they didn't technically. It was just that all of the people that made the engine for Stalker also made the engine for Metro.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the entire studio that made Stalker bailed because they were being treated like shit, and they started their own studio. And you know, made Metro 2033. Which, the biggest thing I can tell you about the first two Metro games is they are some of the best attempts at world building I've ever seen. They show you how the people live, how they're eating, how they're surviving, how they think and feel, and how the political climate is in what is otherwise a linear shooter.
It's honestly like some of like the best world building ever.
So you're
It's
telling me this is a
fantastic.
masterpiece game?
In that specific department, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it fails on so many levels. It's a pretty game in its own way, but
It's
if you
got
play the original Metro, it is ugly today. If you play the remaster, it looks a little better, but it's still fairly ugly by modern standards. But it has its own beauty because it has skilled lighting and all that.
Yeah.
But you know,
it's also
it
got that.
handholds so bad.
It does. And it's also got some of that like Eastern game
Oh yeah, no,
developer jank.
slap jank to the supreme.
Yeah, Slav jank to the max.
Yeah. It's also the first game, Metro 2033, is brutal as all hell.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
It is very much. They are famous for their stealth system, and they're also infamous for their stealth system, because
Was it
if
like
any of
same-
the guards get so much as a whiff of you, you're getting shot. The whole station knows where you are. You're getting shot.
Yeah.
It's nearly impossible to ghost levels, but that's kind of the point. You're not really supposed to. You're supposed to tilt odds in your favor before the fighting kicks off. And that generated its own popular thing with it, and people either like or hate that. The original game is fun, enjoyable. I would never give it anything over a 6 out of 10.
Yeah. It's
Still, it's one of my favorite games.
it's above average. It's an above average in terms of like game mechanics, but like in world building it would get a 10 out of 10. But like
I wouldn't give it a 10 out of 10 on game mechanics. World building, it gets its 10 out of 10. Its storytelling's kind of poor.
yeah, it's kind
The
of
original voice actors are meh because it was a low budget game out of Ukraine.
It's like, okay, we need reference for the outside. They just step outside.
Yeah, no, that's a straight up quote from one of the people in the company that was funding the game when they went to visit. It's a beautiful game. There's a great video done by Racevic about it in the development.
It really is one of it really is it's a great video.
But I've played through it twice. It's not a terribly long game, but it doesn't have to be. If you play on the higher difficulties, it is pain though, and that is a universal truth of everything except for the second game, which we're going to move on to, and we're going to talk about Last Light. Last Light is a very, very 2013 game.
It is a very 2013 game.
It very much follows in the vein of the modern warfares, you know?
Yeah.
It turned into an action thriller explosion fest. It has a more personal story, it has a better story, it executes that story better, but it lost a lot of the difficulty in it. It's a way easier game. You can ghost sections simply because you are now fighting every blind man there is left in Russia.
You can literally stick your fingers up their nose and they wouldn't know you were there.
That is fucking hilarious.
And when they will detect you, they have the reaction time of that sloth from Zootopia.
That's so fucking accurate too.
It's comically easy. I have played it twice. I played it originally around the time it came out, and then I recently played it again when I picked up the Redux package. Which is another thing to note. You can play the games as they were originally, or you can pick them up as the Redux package, which gives an update to the graphics and a couple of other things. If you want to play Metro 2033 as you originally did, you should play it with the original engine, because the Redux actually puts it into the Last Light engine, and it changes the combat up
Yeah.
to more like Last Light.
How much does
A
this
lot of people,
cost?
not much. I'm pretty sure you can pick it up for like the Redux package, which is both of those games for like $30 or something.
Yeah.
Oh, that's not
Or you can
bad.
pick them up. Yeah, yeah. No, it's super. These games are over a decade old at this point,
Yeah.
but they're fun, enjoyable first-person shooters that are post-apocalyptic games that nail that aesthetic. Uh, the only other game that I felt like I was in the apocalypse as much was the Fallout series. Nothing else quite nails the. Even the Fallout stuff never quite nailed the oppressive atmosphere of the Metro games. Because in those games, there's a supernatural element. You come across ghosts and weird stuff happening. And that's one of the best parts, really, because, whenever skilled writers and directors manage to get their hands on interesting and weird ideas, it's fun.
It is really fun.
Oh.
And, what's more haunted than a city that burned to death?
Oh yeah, that's pretty. That sounds pretty scary.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think anything will ever quite be as terrifying as the librarians.
Oh God, Flash. God damn it.
And they're mutated gorillas, and they are the only enemy in the game that doesn't outright attack you. You have to find a document or something in a library on the surface, and you have to make your way through this building. And if you shoot them, I don't even know if you can kill them.
No,
They'll just start attacking
you
you
can't.
at that point.
You can't. You can't.
Otherwise, you can't turn your back on them because they'll try to kill you then. It's a weird game of cat and mouse, in of which the cat's not entirely sure it wants to chase the mouse. And there's like 5 cats, and you don't know where they are.
And it's absolutely terrifying.
Oh, it's absolutely terrifying. The only thing that actually no, there's one thing that was scarier. My first playthrough of Dead Money.
Oh really?
But we're not talking about Fallout. Yeah, no, Dead Money's fucking terrifying.
I haven't played through any of the New Vegas DLC yet, but we're not talking about
That's
that.
a crime. That's a crime, but we're not talking about that right now. But Exodus, which is the last game that they released of the 3 games, is a different game altogether.
I really enjoyed Exodus.
It's fantastic. It has the full AAA polish for the first time in the Metro series, and it's also an open world game with 4. Well, it's semi-open world. There's 3 sections that are linear like the original games, and another 3 sections that are all open world. And of which there are, my favorite thing is how you go and approach it. You could ignore 90% of the content in that game, and still complete it. But
Yeah, but like, why would you want to do that?
why would you do that?
It's also, I would argue, it's also like one of like the most immersive games that you could probably play.
Oh yeah, no, I'm in the middle of a playthrough right now of one of the harder difficulties. And what you should know about the harder difficulties in all the Metro games is they start removing aspects of your HUD. Currently,
I'll be back in a minute.
Okay. Currently, I'm on the harder difficulty in Exodus. The biggest difference I'm noting isn't that I don't have my HUD, because the game was immersive in the first place, and you don't really need to have your HUD up all the time to know what you're doing.
Oh yeah, no, you don't.
But the biggest thing I'm noticing is I'm not a bullet sponge.
It's just
when I played the game on normal, I could take half a Kalashnikov mag and just kind of be fine.
Kind of just shrug it off.
In this mode, if a man with a shotgun looks at me, I'm dead. If a man with a sniper rifle looks at me, I'm dead. And if a man with an automatic gets more than one shot off, I'm dead. And this is a game where most of your enemies are equipped with either shotguns or Kalashnikovs. So
It's just like, it's just
it's an interesting change between, just being able to gun my way through everyone to, if I don't stealth half of this group first, I'm going to die. I'm just gonna sit there and die for a half an hour. And then sometimes I did that anyway, but it was fun in its own masochistic way.
yeah, I
And
can
that's
understand
the
that.
first time I've had one of those experiences, really, of playing something so horribly difficult until I really got it.
I honestly
But
love those games.
Game has extremely difficult mechanics.
Hmm.
Well, I wouldn't say extremely difficult, but
what game?
Space Engineers. The mechanics.
Oh yeah, no, Space Engineers is wonky, my man.
Yeah, I put a lot of hours into Space Engineers. Oh, I wouldn't say too much, but once you learn how to move without the inertial dampers on, it just I don't know. I
Yeah,
can't think of
I mean,
anything harder than that. The moving without
yeah,
them.
it's any sort of game where you have to basically teach yourself a physics engine that,
Yeah.
especially like a space-based game like that,
Oh
in which
yeah.
the physics engine is the most important aspect, is definitely its own huge challenge. It's a different sort of challenge, but it is most certainly still a challenge
Yeah. I have to
because
say, yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't know which one of us is gonna talk first.
In like Ranger Hardcore and the Metro series, you just kind of die, and you're just sitting there reloading saves for a half an hour until you get it right, and you have to redo stuff so much, and it's extraordinarily frustrating. But in like a physics engine scenario, you just have to keep. It could most certainly definitely. It's still definitely frustrating. It's still definitely a learning experience, but it's different, and of which you're constantly building towards what you're doing. In in the Caspian in the Metro Exodus that I was playing recently,
Mm.
I was trying to assault this camp, and I just kept finding myself in a place where no matter what I did, I was just dying. And for an honest to God, I checked the clock. For the next 40 minutes, I continued to die for zero gain. I had to leave and come back the next day to finish that.
That
Damn.
is holy shit.
It's punishing as all hell, but I loved every second of it. But I'm not saying that your own struggles with space engineers, which I'm certain you've had. I'm
Oh
certain you've
yeah.
accidentally launched a spaceship into the void, unable to stop it at some point,
Oh, plenty of time.
which is absolute fucking pain. But it's it's a different kind of pain.
Yeah, it is.
And somewhere in the middle of those two is Dark Souls.
Yeah.
Somewhere in the middle is Dark Souls.
It has both kinds of pain. The slowly building towards getting something kind of pain, and the, oh god, I've lost everything kind of pain. And then there's just the pointless pain, which is why I haven't played much of Dark Souls.
Yeah, I was told that's the hardest game there is.
Yeah. The biggest issue of Dark Souls is the entire community is made of assholes.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Seriously, screw the people that make me feel dirty for saying get good.
Yeah.
Do you know where that comes from? Well, or do you not have this experience? Do you not have this knowledge?
I don't.
Okay, so back when, Dark Souls 1 and 2 came out,
Mhm.
which I think is way further back than we think it is. I think that's like a 2007 thing for like the first Dark Souls. Um, People would go on the wikis trying to figure out how the hell to do bosses and stuff, and the wikis, the Reddits, the fucking blog posts, YouTube comments, and every single one where people were just trying to understand this frustratingly difficult game, their only response would ever be "get good," spelled with an I and a U.
Get good.
Yeah, I knew
Yeah,
that. Yeah, I had a feeling
and
that was gonna happen.
yeah, and they were a bunch of like, I beat it, I'm better than you, kind of supremacist assholes.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Which is what gave Dark Souls such an imposing, attitude to it. Like, not attitude. What's the word? Reputation. It had such an imposing reputation that people stayed away from it because of that. Because really, it's not any more difficult than, bullet hells or anything like that. It's just the community was a bunch of assholes unwilling to help each other. And so
sounds like
people gave up on it a bunch.
games.
Yeah, no, people are assholes everywhere. It's why people hate Overwatch. The community's fucking cancer.
Dude, I feel like that's how Valorant's gonna turn out.
Uh, I, it's inheriting a bunch of people from CS:GO. What did you expect?
Yeah, I played it. So after I played Valorant, I was like, I'm gonna go back and play CS:GO and do like one match. I was like, holy shit, this is extremely toxic.
Oh yeah. No, it's it's kind of like those people who play really niche, like third-person shooter multiplayers. The kind of people who play Far Cry 3 multiplayer regularly, you know?
Oh yeah.
They don't play it because it's fun. They don't play it because, it's an enjoyable thing and there's constantly new experiences. No, they play it because every so often some poor soul picks up Far Cry 3 in a bargain bin for $7 and figures, you know what, I'll try the multiplayer. And they proceed to curb stomp them into the ground so hard they turn into oil. It's those people are just cruel. And almost every one of those games that had a shoehorned in multiplayer that was clearly broken and unbalanced and never fixed because no one played it because it was a shoehorned in multiplayer,
Yeah.
they all have groups of people like that. Hell, even popular games have groups like that. There's a bunch of people who religiously still play Battlefield 3, and about half of those people treat it like a milsim.
Oh yeah, I have encountered those people.
I once came across a group of people that treated GTA 5 like a milsim, and it was fucking weird, my man.
That why? Why would you? Out of all games, why that one?
Because GTA 5 is everything.
You,
It doesn't do anything good. It does literally nothing good.
yeah.
It is an imbalanced piece of shit that railroads you in everything except for free roam, which is filled with rocket bites and missiles and assholes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But what you need to know is it has everything. It has races. It has races that are worse than racing games. It has an open world that is available to everyone and filled with nothing. It has gun combat in both first and third person, and that is the most generous thing I can say about that.
Yeah.
And it has heists, even though, like, it literally any game that has heists in it does heists better.
It's like the jack of all trades, master of none.
It does everything. It allows you to do whatever you want to it. And it has a microtransaction system that lets people feel power go to their head because there is zero balance.
Yeah.
It's like
You can
Minecraft with hookers.
you can pay $100 and play GTA Online for the first time and start with an Oppressor Mark II and just murder a bunch of people.
Fuck all that.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's horrible, but you can do that, and that's a power trip. And people let that go to their heads, and the logical conclusion is, I want to order a bunch of people around. It's
Yeah.
it's like all those stories you hear about the really awful Arma groups.
Mm.
You know what I'm talking about?
Hmm.
I've heard a couple of those.
Yeah. Have you heard anything about the 501st Arma group?
No, I haven't.
Okay, so what they are is they take the 501st Legion from Star Wars and they do Star Wars ops. And you have to graduate from an academy. You have to go through a training op. You have to like call people their rank outside of it. You have to like take their banner and put it on all your social media and stuff.
What the
And
fuck?
every single person there is running a power trip and orders people around all the time.
So it's like a cult?
Yeah, no, that's what
Yeah.
those groups are like.
It's
an
literally
absolute
a
power
game
trip
cult.
for the people in power, and they pull people in there with the promise of doing cool, fun Star Wars stuff. But what it happens is they sit on a hill and they get yelled at for 5 hours. They treat it like the actual army, and I don't know if anyone's told you, but the only thing that is universally true about the army is it fucking sucks.
Yeah.
It's a shit time.
Like, pretty much every member of my family was in the military.
The universal truth is, it's not fun.
It's like
Yeah.
shit sucks, man.
Shit does suck.
Why would I want my entertainment to just sit on a hill and do paperwork?
I don't know, maybe they're like masochists for boredom or something like that.
Yeah, no, some people are into that kind of stuff, and those people scare me.
People that are into being bored and abused.
People that believe the corporations should run the world. Because they fit in, just because they would love to do all that paperwork.
Yeah.
Ugh. Anyway, is it time for a topic change?
Probably.
I think
Because
so.
we've been ranting about unrelated topics for a while now.
Yeah.
Alright, what's next on the docket?
So we all know about the Josh thing, right?
Yes.
The what?
Oh,
Battle of the Joshes.
the Battle of the Joshes.
I haven't heard of this.
Okay, so like about a year ago or so, there was like, of course it's Facebook because they're a different breed, but
Yeah, no, Facebook is like the radioactive remains of Chernobyl.
yeah, but like there was like a group message and everyone in there is just named Josh.
That! Yeah, I know, I remember that now. What happened?
Okay,
What happened with it?
so like because like they're just like, okay, we all have the same name. We meet at these coordinates and we fight, and whoever wins gets to keep the name. And
Yes.
and
Did they do it?
the fight is 4 days from now.
Oh shit.
It's the 24th. That's the fight.
I need to call everyone I know named John.
I'm gonna go to Nebraska where the coordinates were and watch.
I guarantee it'll be live streamed
Oh yeah.
until Twitch
Definitely.
takes it down to violence.
I cannot wait to
Um,
see just a bunch of guys named Josh just beat the shit out of each other just for their name.
If I see someone named Josh after that, I'm gonna respect them because they beat everyone.
They survived.
They all
They
have
were-
to leave. I want you to know that what this is this is a bunch of people randomly gathering and beating each other up for the right not to pay a fine. because they're gonna have to all pay to go change their names.
Yeah.
And you know what I would do? I would gather all the Joshes that lost, and we would all go together, and we would all like to change our name, and we would all change their name to Josh with an E on the end.
I'm gonna start a GoFundMe.
And then they have another fight
Fine.
the next year.
Let's just start a GoFundMe for those poor Joshes that lost.
Yeah. It's like help
No.
these poor Joshes
No.
change their name.
I mean, their name is Josh. That is a crime in and of itself.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, who names their kid Josh?
Yeah, there's so many other
How do you
names, like-
expect that to end well?
Fucking fascists, that's who.
Exactly.
Ugh. Anyway, so that was that entire docket. Moving on.
Rest in peace, Josh.
Before we discuss politics and get murdered.
Yeah, before we discuss politics, because that's gonna go down a really bad rabbit hole.
That, politics are illegal. Just keep going.
Politics are illegal.
So is coronavirus.
What have you done?
What have you done? What?
Banned topics.
Hurry, move on. The next topic. Go.
Okay, so you guys hear this thing called Halo?
Halo.
Nah, never heard of the most influential first-person shooter between the years of 2001 and 2007.
Well, damn, do I have a story for you?
Oh shit.
Okay, so what about Halo? Because you know I could rant about Halo until the sun dies.
I know, and I'm pretty sure like we can all agree that Spartan 2s are fucking terrifying.
Yeah, no, they're broken.
They're
In the lore, at least.
they're just so
We're
broken.
discussing Halo lore? Is that what we're doing?
Yeah.
We're going to discuss about how pointless Spartan 4s are?
Oh yeah.
Oh, I'm in trouble.
What, are you not a Halo nerd?
I haven't played much Halo.
That's a crime.
That is a
It's
crime.
a crime right
I
there.
know.
This man
heresy.
right here, officer.
This is damn near heresy.
Heresy.
I'm going to be totally honest. My first Halo game was Halo Reach, and I didn't play it much. I would never got into Halo multiplayer, which is heresy.
That is heresy.
That's heresy. But I did go back and play through the entirety of the original trilogy. I've played through every Halo campaign except for ODST. I just haven't gotten around to that
Hey,
yet.
ODST is just so good.
Saxophone, that's all we need to say.
Yeah, all you need is that sexy sax.
But the first 3 games are worthy of the crown they've been given. That's all you need to say about it. They are fantastic games with fantastic mechanics. And even though I wasn't a part of the hype at the time, going back and watching the trailers for Halo 3
it was
gives
worth
me
the hype.
goosebumps.
It's worth the hype.
It gives me goosebumps today, even though I wasn't part of it at the time. Watching the trailers for it.
Honestly, the
It's-
Halo 3 trailers are just so fucking good.
You know something that's even more funny? I've never
What?
played a Halo, but I've read Halo books and watched Halo movies.
That's funny.
That's
legitimately
actually
funny.
fucking hilarious.
You're like, I play video games, and I read Halo lore. I've
Yeah.
never played the games. You know, the most played video game between the years 2001 and 2007.
Yeah, it's pretty wild.
That is
There's-
wild. If you want my advice, play them.
Yeah.
Pick up the Master Chief Collection. That's like $50, and you get 3 games that are worth the money, and 1 that is a bonus, I guess.
You get
They run on Windows 10, right?
Yeah, it runs Windows 10.
yeah. It's actually on Steam.
It's a Microsoft game.
I remember hearing like a while ago that they were Xbox exclusives, so I was just.
Oh yeah, they were. I will warn you that the Master Chief Collection on PC is a nightmare.
Yeah.
But it's a nightmare that has been mostly fixed, as far as I've heard.
I
But
I
when they
just
dropped it, it was an unplayable mess.
Oh yeah, I just played the
That was like 2 years ago.
I just played the MCC like a week or two ago because I actually have it on my PC because I'm a madman. It
Yeah.
actually ran really well for my hunk of junk.
Yeah, it's a game that came out 20 goddamn years ago. I would
Yeah.
But
I
like,
would hope the original Halo would run on your PC.
oh yeah, the original
I would
Halo
hope
runs smooth as butter.
I would hope Halo 2 runs on it, considering it ran on the original Xbox, I think.
Yeah, this thing after I got my new graphics card, it ran all the games like supremely smoothly.
Yeah.
But yeah, like
Y-
you can definitely pick up the MCC for like $60. Uh,
It's worth it.
and it's so worth
It's
it
worth
Alright.
the first 3 games.
because you have
It's worth it.
the first 3 games.
And the multiplayer playlist.
Oh yeah.
And
And
Halo 4 is a part of it. But
and
I think you have
also-
to pay for 5 Reach and 3 in ODST.
actually,
Okay.
actually, I think both ODST and Reach are included for free on the PC.
Well, fuck me
Ooh.
sideways.
Yeah.
Why'd I pay for it?
No, but ODST and Reach are fantastic in their own right.
Yeah.
They are. Reach was an experience.
It was. It still is.
Yeah, it's lost its touch though. The original Reach multiplayer experience.
Yeah. But for people who haven't actually played Reach's campaign, it's still an experience.
I'm pulling up Google to search things in the background. But I think we should move off of the games because a third of our member hasn't played it and I'm feeling bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what Halo lore do you want to discuss?
Mm.
Shit.
I was gonna go down the route of like the Spartan 2s and like 3s and all those experiments and shit, and with like Halsey and then like the fucked up shit Oni's done.
If you want to talk about the fucked up shit Oni's done, we will be here actually until the sun dies.
That is
It's
true.
just the definition of Oni. Oni's terrifying, that's all you need to know.
Oni is fucking
All the
terrifying.
same, if I could have only one part, if I was to go into any other universe, and the only thing I could take from Halo was like one of the different things, it would be Oni.
Yeah.
I'm just saying it, Oni could probably topple the Star Wars Empire.
Oh yeah, without a doubt.
Oni's the best and the worst.
They are the best and the worst.
You know, war crimes, kidnapping children to experiment on them, whole 9 yards.
There's actually
You know, that,
There-
you know how the Spartan 2's formed, right?
You talking to me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty sure they kidnap a child.
They kidnapped like 60 kids.
Yeah. Trying to. I think I read a book on it. It was they kidnap them, then they give them the genetic modification, then the implants, and
Yeah.
basically the armor becomes like their second skin.
Yeah.
pretty
it's-
much.
The reason they had to do all of that was it was too responsive, and they kept pulling in Iron Man 2.
Yeah.
If you remember the beginning of Iron Man 2, where where Tony Stark showed all that footage of the experimental things, and the dude twisted his spine backwards. I think the one direct quote I remember is a dude went to salute, and no, it was Master Chief, because there's a book on when Master Chief was just getting it. I think that's the Fall of Reach.
I think that's the one I read.
Yeah, the Fall of Reach I think is one of the most read books, but
Yeah.
he an officer walks by and he's like, "Oh, I'm supposed to salute," in his head. Like he registers it automatically and his hands already there.
Ooh, that's
Beca-
wild.
Because Spartan 2s literally move at the speed of thought.
Yeah.
And he was like, "I'm so happy I had my helmet on because otherwise I would have obliterated my forehead."
Jesus.
Yeah, Spartan 2s are just overpowered as shit.
Yeah, yeah. Imagine Captain America, but they like balanced him for Warhammer 40K. That's basically what Spartan 2s are.
Yeah.
They only ended up with like 30 Spartan 2s, but that's fine.
That's
They only needed one.
They only needed one.
Yeah.
Just create
That does bother me about Reach, though. That's one of the things that bothers me about Reach. Why the hell does George stay on the ship? Okay, so to explain, in Halo Reach, the really lazily made... is this the CCS or the CAS class?
CAS class.
Yeah.
Super carrier.
In Halo Reach, they added a new ship to the Covenant called the CAS class supercarrier. It's 29 kilometers long, and it's just an upscaled model of
That's pretty
the other ones. It
big.
pissed a lot of... Yeah, but it pissed people off because they also scaled up all the windows and everything.
Oh.
From the 5-kilometer ship?
Oh, so these are just like massive pains.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. It pissed a bunch of people off because it is silly. And my favorite thing is, whenever anyone tries to do anything with it, they're just like, why? I don't know how to make this work. It's ridiculous. It has a crew complement of several million personnel.
Yeah.
It's just too
It
big.
carries an entire invasion force by itself. It's just ridiculous. But in the game, one of them shows up at Reach, which is home of the Spartans and the military hub of the UNSC.
Yeah.
And your team, Noble Team, which is a bunch of Spartan 3s and one Spartan 2, go to use a slip space drive to blow up the giant carrier, which works, but the timer gets damaged in a fight, so it has to be detonated manually. So, you and George are the only people there. You're a random Spartan 3. The definition of expendable, considering half the Spartan 3 program died in one mission.
Oh.
Yeah.
Their first mission.
Oh.
The story goes is a B company, Spartan 3Bs, which had like... I don't remember, but it was a significant number of Spartan 3s. They went on a mission to go blow up a base or something, and two of their like either 100 or it was either 100 or like 300 members died. All but two of them made it back, and those two people are both in Noble Squad. So, spoilers, but Noble doesn't make it. I think every Spartan 3 dies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With the exception of like Mystical Gamma Company or whatever they're called. There's one company that just are basically all Master Chief, and it's hilarious. But Spartan 3s are expendable and cheaper made. They're Spartan. Do you know the difference between Spartan 3 and Spartan 2?
I just know that the Spartan 3 is not as good as the Spartan 2.
They aren't. That's because they're not taken as children.
Oh.
Spartan 3s are gathered from
Orphans. They're orphans.
They're a bunch of orphans from various planets. They were grabbed as teenagers instead of like 4-year-olds.
Oh.
And their modifications were done cheaper, and their armor is also cheaper.
So it's like a Walmart Spartan.
Yeah, Walmart off-brand Spartan 2s.
Yeah, pretty much.
And to make it even worse, Spartan 4s are even less effective.
Yeah, fuck Spartan 4s.
Spartan 4s, honestly, I don't think they're actually any more effective than an ODST.
And really, ODSTs are all you need. Because
Yeah.
Spartan 4s are just...
They're mass-produced Chinese knockoff Spartans.
Yeah, they're just not as good ODSTs with Spartan armor.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're Actually, a lot of them are ex-ODSTs.
Oh yeah,
Because
'cause-
Spartan 4s are literally just minor modifications done to veteran soldiers.
and even
The best soldiers are taken and turned into Spartan 4s.
So why don't they just kidnap more children? Like,
Um, I think Oni got purged at some point.
yeah.
oh,
I think Oni tried to coup the government, and the government didn't like that. And the government had a navy, and Oni didn't at the time.
that's not fun.
So Oni just kind of caved in.
I think like the upper brass at Oni all got shot at some point.
Yeah.
Ooh. Always fun. People getting shot.
No, but yeah.
Yeah.
But like
Political prisoners have no place in this government. One of my favorite little facts is, what are they? One of the directors of Oni was actually a Spartan 3 washout.
So
it was just a giant woman.
it's just this orphan
it's just a
that was
giant
picked
woman.
up, and then it's
it-
just a fucking
Yeah, but she was a
Now-
competent military commander. You don't end up in charge of Oni unless you know what you're doing.
good point.
I think that was Perengovsky.
I don't remember the exact name.
I don't remember, but it's just a fun little thing. That you got to remember, there are washout Spartans. Most of the Spartan 2s that were washouts, otherwise known as their modifications didn't stick very well, ended up as cripples, or just
Oh.
died.
That
straight
But most of them died,
fun.
which is roughly 50% of the Spartan 2 program. You got to remember that. Half of the Spartan 2 program either died or became a cripple.
That's love the odds.
Yeah.
And then the other
And
half are
you're
just,
asking why they shut down Oni. And that was with the best possible subjects with the highest chance of success, taken as children and modified as early as possible to make sure it had the best possibility. That's how messed up the Spartan 2 program was.
Yeah, I gotta go. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was also the secret trial of Palsy.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, Oni that's actually why Oni got purged. They took Palsy in, arrested her secretly, and were gonna have her executed after a secret trial. But the government was like, yo, Master Chief saved the universe like 4 times.
Yeah.
She gets a pass. And then they purged Oni.
Yeah.
all right. Well, I'll talk to you guys later.
Adios.
I got a DC. So peace.
Yeah, we're gonna continue talking about Halo because Halo is fun.
Halo is fun.
All right.
You know, genocide.
Yay. Peace.
Peace.
Adios.
If you guys do want to check out Jason and I talking about Halo lore and our favorite Halo games, I will have a separate video up right after I upload this one. So if you guys do want to check that out, keep an eye out for it. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hit that subscribe button. Thanks.